Working on today is a 2001 F350 Super Duty 7.3 liter, and what I'm going to be showing you is how to install this ICP sensor. And here's the part number right here. If this is the same one that you're going to be installing, I'm sure it is if you came here for this video. And there's several different ways you can install this new sensor. You can take a 1 1/16 socket to install it, and it fits over these threads. And this is the updated part that has the threads on the outside. The old or the original part that's going to be in the truck, which I'm about to show you, this piece right here don't have any threads on it, so it's smooth. The threads are down here, and you'll need this smaller, I didn't use this, the 5/8 stubby wrench right there. And I'll show you a quick way, very good trick, using this tool right here. This is a basin wrench to get that out. And I also, in the last video, if you watched it, this is the little diag connector. It was kind of dark in that video, so you might have not got a good chance to see the connector and what it looked like. And it's also got a USB that plugs up to the laptop right there, and this plugs up to the OBD port. And there's the name, VINT, OBD II diag, and it comes in this little box right here. And you download a program called 4Scan, and it's specifically for Ford vehicles, and it lets you do all kinds of stuff. I haven't even got to do all the stuff in the program that it lets you do, because I'm still working on this, fixing this issue that I have. And in this big bag right here, if you're gonna replace the connector, this is the part number that you're gonna need right here. And this actually says made in USA, so good job Ford here. So this is just a great big bag for a little bitty connector, and they got this piece of paper so you can't really see, but I'll give you a sneak peek. It's just a little connector right there, and it's got 3 green wires. Well, there's actually the connector, and it's got some heat shrink in there and some new connectors. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that, because I was actually looking in the connector, and up in the connector it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of oil up inside. It's mainly just on the outside around the plug that this had oil in it. So this is the new sensor. So I'm probably gonna just put this sensor in and plug it up, start it up, see what happens. Because I know for a fact this sensor is bad because it's full of oil. And I was having some no start issue here, and I could unplug this sensor and it would fire right up, even though it was still running a little rough. So I might have it kind of like a 2 issue in 1. I might have a problem still with the IPR sensor. I've been reading a whole lot about this, and the IPR can go bad just as this one goes bad from old age. Alrighty, so this is the setup that I got going on, and this is a topside creeper, what I'm using. This is very useful to work on vehicles that are lifted and quite big. So it's got like a little ladder with steps right here, and it's also got a pad that you can rest on. And what we're looking at is a 7.3 liter. So let's turn a little light on. All right, so straight above, right beside the fuel filter right here, we have the sensor. I've already got it unplugged. I've left it unplugged, and you can kind of see that I've already took the weather insulation off. But up in there, it doesn't look like a whole lot of oil or anything. I mean, it just looks like a normal connector. I don't see anything. I've left it unplugged and facing down, and I don't see any oil dripping out of it, so I think it's okay. Showing you 2 different ways, or actually 3 different ways to get this out. So I've seen a whole lot of videos on YouTube trying to get this sensor out, and most of them involve taking the serpentine belt out. Back up for a minute. So to get this sensor out, it's so close to the back of the alternator you can't really get a full wrench in. because I can't really show it right now, but the threads, it don't have any threads on the top. It's just round. It's got a 5/8 bolt head below it. Really bad design. So what happens is, I've seen multiple videos, people taking this belt loose and the alternator, well, first disconnecting the battery, because there is a video out there that somebody welded their wrench, or actually touched it to the back of this alternator, and that's your hot wire right there. So what I'm going to show you is the easy way. You can take a 5/8 stubby wrench and it will fit down there on it. Now, depending on how tight this is, you're not going to be able to break this loose with that much leverage. It's just too short of a wrench. And a little bit longer wrench, you can see there's nowhere to turn it back up here without taking like a bunch of pipes and stuff. The easiest way would be to take this alternator, 3 bolts. Before taking this loose, you do want to disconnect your battery. The second way, and this would be a way that would probably be very easy, is using just a punch with a sharp blade right there. And what I like to do is you angle it. I would hit it about right there, and just long enough to hit the top right there with a hammer, and in that direction you'll be able to break that loose pretty easily with this. So what I'm going to show you, the easiest way is using this right here, and this is called a basin wrench. Once again, you put this right here and you can feel it. It gets tight as you put pressure on it. Let me get my hand out of the way so you can see it break loose. So let me get situated right here, and you get some pressure on it. So right now it's tight on that sensor, and there you go. So this just give it a firm spin. These teeth right here grabs, and as you're putting pressure this way, this gets tighter, so it squeezes it. And you can see it's pretty much any angle. This is a very handy tool to have, and yeah, that's about it. So you've seen me break loose this sensor right here with that tool. Well, I thought I broke it loose. Here we go. Yeah, it's still hand tight. Now I'm about to get a rag to put down there, because hopefully oil won't come out too much right here, because I don't want to make a mess down there in the bottom. Just tuck this rag right here. Right around the bottom. Now there shouldn't be any pressurized oil on this whenever you pull it out, but generally during idle this has about 500 psi of pressure, and it goes upwards of a few thousand psi. So that's what it looks like right there. It had just a little bit of oil, and I just wiped it right here on this rag. And the O-ring still looks good right there. It's got a black O-ring on it, and that right there, it had quite a bit of oil down in there, so this was definitely a bad sensor. So right there, you don't want to make you want to make sure that nothing gets down in that hole right there. So very carefully, I'm just going to wipe with my clean rag right here. You can see just a little bit of dirt right there, but otherwise it was very clean. Let me adjust my light just a little bit better. Oh wow, so I can see the oil. Probably can't see it in the camera, and I can't zoom on this thing, but right about 2 threads in, it's full of oil. So that's on the top side of the head, and there's no dirt or anything around. You want to make sure this is very, very clean, because that O-ring, it's going to set right there, right at the tip of my finger on the new sensor. So I'm about to thread in the new sensor. So this is the new sensor. I just wanted to compare them side by side. And this is the original sensor that came with the truck when it was built. So I'm about to install this, and I always like, with O-rings, I like putting just a little light coat of oil. So I'm gonna stick my finger just right into the end of those threads. I got just a little bit of oil just around that O-ring where you don't want it to bunch up. You don't want to soak it down, but you want this O-ring to be able to slip a little bit whenever you tighten it up, because if it's dry, it can bunch up, kink the O-ring, and cut it. I've seen it happen before. So here we go. ICP sensor right here on top. Start it by hand. So I turned it at least about 4 or 5 times, and then it completely stopped. So now I'm gonna take my wrench, 1 1/16", and give it a snug. So that sensor, it is bone dry, nothing on there, and you can see there's nothing. So I am going to plug this up. Keep in mind, without the weatherproof, so I've got to go back on there and put that rubber O-ring back on there. But I've got it plugged up. Let's see if it starts up. Check and make sure that you don't have any leaks around your sensor. Everything looks good. Alrighty, so with it idling, it hadn't been started in about 2 weeks, and it does have just a little bit of a rough idle. It is still pretty cold though. I will have to get the laptop and check the codes. So there's little options down here at the bottom. So if you hover over them, this says read DTCs. Right beside it, this says reset DTCs. So what we're going to do is clear out these codes. Click the button. This will reset, and that's exactly what I'm wanting to do. Please cycle the ignition off, then back on. So there it is off. There it is on. We'll say okay. And there it is reading the codes again. Successful, no codes found. So now's the time. As soon as this wait to start goes off, it is off. We're going to start this truck. And that's a little worrisome that the service engine soon light is still on. So let's see if there's any codes in here. Alrighty, so I've got a 1316 injector driver module code, and I've also got a P0541 that intake heater. It does have just a slight little rough idle. I mean, it's very, very slight. More noticeable whenever you rev it up just a little bit. So I definitely have something else going on. And let's try some of these other codes here. So key off, engine on, injector, or engine off, electrical self-test. So I'm gonna try that injector test and see what we get with the engine off. And this time I'm gonna step outside and we can hear these injectors. So we're gonna count them after I hit this test. Gotta be kind of quick to get over there. So it's gonna do all the injectors at once as soon as I hit OK, and then it's gonna go through 1 through 8. Alrighty, so it just went through all of them, and unfortunately, whenever it got to cylinder 3, it was muted. So I've definitely got something going on with injector 3. So these 7.3s, they are known to have issues with, I've got the light right there on the wire harness for the injectors. It plugs up, right here, I'll point to it. That plugs up to the valve cover. They're known to have issues. And also the injectors themselves, even though this truck is kind of low miles, I think it's at 146,000, but definitely got the no start, no crank taken care of with that new ICP right there. So I'm going to get diagnosing a little bit more in future videos. If you want to have notifications, please click the bell. Subscribe if you're new here, and much more videos coming. But that's how to replace a 2001 7.3 ICP sensor. Right there, the easy way. Thanks for watching.